Okay, good evening, everybody, and thanks for hopping on our Monday night Honeybees team call on whatever day it is today, Tuesday, October 2nd, right?
Monday.
Oh, Monday.
Monday.
That's right, Monday team call. Monday.
I didn't even catch that.
I know, right?
All I heard was October 2nd.
At least I got the date. I didn't bother saying the year. 1970 now. 2017. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. But I'm excited about our call tonight because we've got a very special guest with us, Stacey Whitmer, who is a fellow New Yorker here coming to us tonight from Long Island, which we love having our New Yorkers on the team coming on our call. Stacey and I have had the pleasure of getting to know each other through the Brave Leaders program, which most of you know about, and we were fortunate enough to be in the first incoming group when we were placed in a pod together. And so we've really had an awesome opportunity to get to know each other and work closely throughout through the last several months. And actually what's been really exciting is I've been able to climb to recently just hit national marketing director. So we have a brand new national marketing director on our call with us, and we're so excited. It's been awesome. She's going to share a little bit about her story, and she's going to do this beautiful training that I just recently saw her do at the New York City Regional on her DMO, which is fantastic. And she was so kind and generous to do this for our team call. So I appreciate you guys hopping on. And without further ado, so we don't waste any more time, I'm going to turn it right over to you, Stacey.
You got it.
You.
I'm so happy to be here. Like Danielle said, we met on our pod, our Brave Leaders pod. And if you have not joined into that program, their next go around, I would dive into it if the opportunity is there. I mean, you make amazing relationships, amazing friendships like Danielle and I have made, and like our whole group is really so close. And then what I love is the impact just continues to grow. I'm so happy to be able to share with you guys. And if I didn't know Danielle through Brave Leaders, then this wouldn't have come up. So I'm happy to be here. Like she said, I am on Long Island. I live in New York, Long Island, New York. I grew up here. I got a full scholarship to college, University of Maryland, for gymnastics. I was a gymnast. It's where I met my husband. He played football and baseball there. He was on a full scholarship as well. And after college, I was a biology and kinesiology major. And after college, we moved back to Long Island because that's just what we did. My husband and his father was an admiral in the Navy, so they moved everywhere. So when it was time to come home, I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up at that point. So I came home and I interviewed for a while to do pharmaceutical sales. And that's what I ended up doing for 11 years, for a really, really long time. So right out of college, I had a fancy job, fancy car, fancy clothes. You're thinking this is what I'm supposed to do, right? This is my life. I'm supposed to go to college and get a job from 9 to 5. I just assumed this was going to be my forever. And at first it was fine. But until I had my first child, who is now 7 and my youngest is 5. But until I had my first baby, I don't think I ever yearned for anything other than 9 to 5 because I didn't know any better. So when my first son was born at 4 months old, he had a pretty nasty allergy where his body did not respond well to rice cereal at 4 months. And he threw up so profusely from it that he almost went into shock and we almost lost him. And it was kind of at that point that our whole lives changed with food. And understand, I was an athlete and I thought I knew what healthy was. I had no flipping idea what healthy was. But because you're an athlete doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. You don't. You just think you exercise a lot so you don't have to eat. You can eat whatever you want. It's not the truth. There are so many things I would have changed. But makes me smarter now for my children who are very active. So at that point with my child, our whole lives changed with food. We became very holistic by nature. And here I'm doing this career. I'm in this career that my heart wasn't there. My head wasn't there. I had no passion for it at this point. I was so holistic by nature, but doing something that was just really conflicting for me. But it was my job. It was a tremendous income, and it gave us a lifestyle. So I didn't think anything else. I just thought, this is what we do. I'm going to wake up and I'm not going to be happy. And I'm going to love being with my family and dream to be home with my kids. But I live in Long Island. My husband is a teacher and a coach and does very well, but I was a substantial income. So here's what happened. I didn't know any better. And so many of us don't know that there's so many people on this planet that don't know that there's life outside of their job. You know, I'm not a big dreamer. I am now, but I was never a big dreamer. But one of my only dreams was to be able to stay home with my kids, because that's really what I passioned. I love nutrition. I love talking about food, but it wasn't my life until when you're in corporate America. Doesn't matter. You're downsized. When you're downsized, right? You're a number in corporate America. And when my number was called, my number was called. And I remember thinking that it was the best day of my life. And the person on the other end of that call was like, "Why aren't you crying?" And I thought, I'm free. This is like freedom. I get to decide what I want to be when I grow up. And I don't even know what that is, you know? And that was 2.5 years ago. I just got chills thinking about it, because October 21st is when I was downsized, and October 20th is when I get to be on stage as a national marketing director. How crazy is that, right? I just got chills thinking about it. So October 21st of 2014 rolls around, and my number was called. And I was, out of 11 years, I think 7 out of 11, I was top 5 in the country. So I did very well for the company. But my number was called, and it was the best day of my life, because 10 days later, I went to a wine and wellness and found out about Juice Plus. That was my path. And I knew it from the minute I did my research on the product. I'm crazy about what I feed my family. And when I did the research on the product, I thought, this seems awesome. And I come from a research background, so the research is unmatched. When we share this product, we need to share it proudly, understanding that there is nothing on the planet that has been proven to do what Juice Plus does. And when you share with that passion, people are going to flock to you. It's a different conversation than if you feel kind of wishy-washy about it. So definitely share with passion, because we've got something that's unmatched. So I fell in love with the product, started the product, and about 15 days into starting the product, I had done my research on the business, and I thought, I'm going to do this. I don't even know what multi-level marketing is. I don't even know what that's called. I don't even know what that means. But I knew that there was a point A and there was a point B. And point B was national marketing director. And I knew I just needed to figure out how to get there. And I did. And I remember very distinctly one night, my husband and I were talking, and he said, "You're never going back to work again." And I said, "No way." He was like, "Then go for it." At this point, I was now home with my kids. You were not going to take me away from my children again. I was paying my nanny more than my mortgage to raise my kids. I mean, it's heartbreaking to think about. And I could cry if I go. I'm not even going to go there anymore, but it was heartbreaking. So the fact that I was now home, nothing was pulling me away from that. So my focus was zoned in from day one. And because of that, I now was home with 2 kids, a non-income, and I needed to figure out quickly how to get to national marketing director. And I knew that I needed to be really efficient with my time. So I came up with a lot of different systems, and Danielle, there's something else I'll share with you later on. But I have a bunch of different systems that I created, because for me, it was always find a need, fill a need. I felt like we have so many incredible resources and so many great things, but it was too hard to kind of put too many things. I didn't want to have to explain the same thing over and over and over again. I just wanted everybody to have the same thing to do every day, so we could all be on the same page. There's other DMOs out there that are very good, but for me, it wasn't fitting in with what I wanted. So I created a DMO, and I'm going to share it with you now. So I'm going to share my screen. And let's go. Okay. So here is my DMO, and it's not letting me share. Hold on. Okay. So you know who I am. Okay. So what is a DMO? A DMO is giving you the opportunity to map out your day each and every day, so that your week is very efficient. It's about working smart. It's not about working necessarily harder, but it's about working smarter with the time that you have allotted. Your DMO really acts as like a daily schedule, and that you align certain tasks to each day, so you feel accomplished at the end of the day, no matter how much time you're putting in. I call things BBA. You want to make sure that in your allotted time, you're doing business building activity every single day. And it's not necessarily always about the business. You can also do personal development. I spend at least 15 to 30 minutes every day on personal development, because as I better myself, I'm better for everybody. I'm better for me. I'm better for my family. I'm better for my team. And obviously it goes on. These are words that I have literally engraved on a plaque in my house. The words, be intentional. That is how I live my life. Everything that we do needs to be intentional, especially when it comes with our time. If we are focused and intentional with our time, we are going to have so much more opportunity to grow. And instead of kind of being a hamster in a wheel where we feel sometimes stuck, we're not allowed to use that word on my team. We call it an opportunity for growth. If you ever feel like you're in an opportunity for growth, well, then we need to kind of dive in and see, what are we doing every day that's getting us out of that hamster wheel? What are we doing every day that's really giving us an opportunity to take off? So this is what my DMO looks like in totality. I'm going to break it down for you by day, but every day has a theme. I like to theme things. It just makes stuff more fun. Okay, so let's start with Monday, and let me move this. Okay, can you guys see that okay? Okay, so let's start with Monday. Monday is Momentum Monday. Monday is the day that starts off your whole week, right? So if you have a kick butt Monday and you're so efficient and you have so many great things happening on Monday, you're really setting up the pace for the rest of the week to go really, really well. Now, Monday is, I call it, is a day that you're going to reach out and call people on your hot hands list. Your hot hands list, I thought of hot hands because, again, I theme everything, but I thought of hot hands because if you put something hot in your hand, what are you going to do? You're going to move, right? If you're touching something that's hot, you're going to move. You're physically moved to action. So your hot hands list, you're going to pick 10 people, prospects, anybody, that your goal is to move them to an action today. So let me break that down. If you have someone that's a potential customer and you're looking to get them to be a customer, well, then your goal is to get them to jump in and become a customer today. If it's someone that you sent information to, or you sent them a video, or you sent them a Voxer or something, your goal is to get them to listen to it and move them to an action and set up a follow-up for the next day. So whatever that looks like, you're going to pick 10 people and your goal is to move them to an action that day. Now, here's how I train my team. And I know this is very awkward. This is a telephone. When you talk into it like this, people can hear you and then they can talk back. So this is what I love to use the most. I know we're very used to this and typing on our phones, right? But this is where magic happens, over the phone. And this is like my actual house phone. I actually do have a house phone. So this is where magic happens, is through voice. Because you cannot share passion in a text. It gets completely missed, guys. And people say to me all the time, how did you get to National Marketing Director in 2.5 years? Number one, I busted my butt. Number two, I call people all day long. And I'm telling you that if I have someone on a messenger, maybe they'll order a 2-blend. But if I get someone on the phone, I can either get them to a trio and maybe a shred 10 and potentially my business. I'm telling you that the passion in your voice goes a lot further than a text message. So those 10 calls, I'm typically calling people. And that creates a lot of momentum for the week. I also do Monday night calls, kind of like you guys. But we like the Wendy Campbell team call. Usually has a great call usually. So every other week we do Wendy Campbell's call and my team call. But you guys do this, so that's part of your Momentum Monday. And understand this too, that no matter how much time you're putting into each and every day, that each theme is going to keep you zoned in on that specific task. If you have 15 minutes or if you have an hour and a half, you want to focus, zone in on each theme for each day. So at the end of the day, you're like, man, I got so much done. It's about being productive, not just busy. So now Tuesday is Team Building Tuesday. It's really about zoning in and let's lock in and see what our team is up to. Now, if you're brand new and you're growing a team, then that's where your warm market comes in. Reach out to the people that are closest to you. Tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why you want them to be a part of it. Or if you have existing customers, but you're still in team building mode, dive into your customers. Your turnover rate from raving fan to distributor should be really high. If you're doing really good customer care and you've got raving fan customers, these are people who are going to want to be part of this community. It's just kind of how the mission-driven system truly works. works if we use it, right? But it's there for us. That's what you're going to do if you're growing a team or you're building a team. If you're brand new or even existing, your goal is to really find new people that you want to share this mission with. Now, if you have an existing team and you're still in team building mode, we're always in team building mode, but you have maybe a handful or more people on your team that you want to focus on. Today's the day you're going to dive into your virtual office, check out their numbers. Where did they finish up on there with qualifying? How many people did they add last month? Customers. How many new distributors did they add? I actually have that on a spreadsheet because I like to compare month to month. How are we growing? If your pay line is not going to show me growth, because you can have one person doing all of it, and maybe as a team, that one group added 15 customers, but as a total team, we added 20. So that's not showing me balance. That's showing me really lopsided growth, right? So you want to dive into the virtual office, understand where your team is, understand what their next goals are, set those goals with them, and then help them fill their calendar and align the activities that they need for those goals and put them in place. Help them stay focused on big rocks first. I think big rocks are your big priorities. We are not in the business of making flyers. So on Team Building Tuesday, I'm not making flyer for a distributor. You can do something in 2 seconds on WordSwag or Canva. We want to be efficient. And especially when we're training our teams, how we train them is how they're going to train their team. And our goal is to train our leaders to lead. So by doing this, I'm setting goals for my leaders, and then they're dispersing those goals throughout their team. But we're not just setting goals and saying, hey, just go for this month. I'm setting goals and we're aligning the activities to those goals with those team members. I'm going to always train and make sure that our team is training on personal growth and development. It's a huge piece, and it's something that it's important that we always focus on. And of course, that today, if we have any follow-ups for Monday, we're going to do that in our allotted time as well. Okay? So now we're going to Wednesday. Wrap it up Wednesday. Our goal is to tie up any loose ends that we have open right now. So anything that's happened on Monday and maybe Tuesday, let's try to close any of those gaps. Let's try to finish any of those conversations that we've started to have. I also do a lot of event building on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays, I'm doing a lot of like setting up events, inviting to events, making sure that our calendar is filled for 30, 60, sometimes 90 days out. And then making sure our team knows what those events are, where they are, as well as certain verbiage that I'm using to invite to that event. Because verbiage changes. If I'm doing a Facebook event or if I'm doing a live event, that verbiage is going to change. So I set up kind of verbiage on like different formats where I send it out to my team through Facebook, and I say, hey, these are the events that are going on. Let's make sure that we're personally inviting to these events. Personalization is so important. If I send you a text that says, hey, join me for this wine and wellness, you got to give someone a purpose behind the message, right? So why are you asking that person? I thought of you because, tell them why you are inviting them, tell them the purpose of your event and how you think it's going to benefit their life. So if you make things personal, then it's going to change the way that people react to your ask. So today is on Wednesdays, wrap up Wednesdays are days that I really focus on, again, closing any open ends for Monday and Tuesday, making sure that those actions are being moved, and also making sure that events are set up and invites have gone out. So now we go to Thursday. Thank you, Thursday. Monday is my favorite day, and Thank You Thursday kind of play for a close second. Thank You Thursday is all about your customers. We work our butts off to get new customers every single month. We need to work even harder to keep them. Understand that a customer, just to have a customer, is fine. But I know our company uses that back, are your customers, and the drain is up. As you're getting new customers, you're losing them as quickly. What's happening? The turnover is so significant that you're never going to come out with growth. It's just going to always be, again, that circle. So as the water is running, if your drain is up, you're losing as much as you're gaining, and unfortunately, you're never going to get to a point of growth. But if you can plug that faucet, if you can stop that faucet by doing really good customer care, creating a really fun customer community, then that your tub is going to overflow at some point. But it's really important that you focus on your customers. So before I do anything else, I love reports. I know that's crazy, and I love our genealogy report. But every first Thursday of the month, I print out my customer genealogy report. You can do that. You get them mailed to you, emailed to you. The ones that are emailed to you are your personal customers. But the ones that you go into the virtual office and run yourself give you your entire team. Okay. So I run a customer genealogy, and I'm looking for declined credit cards. I'm looking for canceled customers. I'm looking for customers that are in R status. So declined cards are something we can fix quickly. That's something you want to really be on top of, because after 30 days, you lose those points, you lose that customer, and that stinks. That should be an easy fix. The canceled cards, when I'm looking at my customers, if someone cancels and I didn't know, that means I didn't do good customer care. That's really on me. I should truly understand why that person canceled and what happened there. If I'm doing good customer care, maybe I would have been aware of it. But if I'm not, then that kind of can throw you off sometimes. And then something that we really need to be aware of, and when I was going for NMD, this was eye-opening to me. On the genealogy, when I looked at all the R's for each of my teams, it's astronomical how many people are postponing shipment. And R means delayed shipment. Why? There were some people that had been delaying for like 8 months. You're not taking the product. Let's just call a spade a spade. Is it expired? I mean, it could be expired at this point. So if you're going through your genealogy and you see a lot of R's, you got to really ask yourself what's going on here, either if it's your personal or even your team. Because those R's mean that those things are not billing. If it's delayed, you're not getting paid on those numbers. So it's really important that you're aware of that and you stay ahead of it, so that you're not going to get caught up being where you're calling someone and they're like, oh, you can just cancel. Well, if we are doing really good customer care and they need to delay it a month or so, that's one thing. But the ongoing delay is going to turn into a canceled person. So it's important we really stay on top of that. So one of the things that I do every month, I call every single one of my customers. I have my genealogy right here. And I start from my first customer and I go down the list. So again, let's use this as an example. If you have an hour to spend on Juice Plus on Thursday and you have 40 customers, I'm going to call 10 customers the first Thursday of the month, and then so on. I'm going to call 10 customers each day. That's just an example, okay? And the reason why I do that is because I'm checking in. How are you? How are things? What's going on? I want them to hear my voice. I want them to know I'm here to help them. And those phone calls are really, really important. And if you're afraid to call, then there are other ways you can do it. Yes, you can text somebody. It's perfectly fine. But you're not going to get the maximum amount from that person if you are just texting somebody. But there are other options. You can voice message through text message or face message. So if someone can hear the passion in your voice and how are you? How I've been thinking about you. How are you doing on Juice Plus? Have you made it a habit yet? The number one question we need to ask: have you made Juice Plus a habit? Because if they haven't, nothing else matters. I just spoke to someone the other day, and they've been a customer of mine for a long time. And I said, have you made Juice Plus a habit yet? Because we keep going back to the same thing. And she was like, well, I take one right in the morning, 2 greens at 12, and I take the omega. And I was like, what happened to purple? She was like, oh, the purple. I forgot about those. Like, where are we, lady? It's amazing how people get really confused. And it's important that we're there to help them and make sure that they understand what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. Something else I do on Thursdays or in the month with my customers, I pick 5 customers every month that I call that I love on, and I send them a gift. I'm not the person that's sending out, 45 Dunkin' Donuts cards at Christmas, for example. I'm sending out gifts throughout the year. It's just a fun way to stay engaged, and people love getting stuff. I know this one woman loves shopping at this specific market right by her house. I sent her a $15 gift card to that. Over the summer, I sent everybody like a beach, like a bathing suit bag, like a bag that after your bathing suit's wet, it's like a waterproof bag, and they were adorable, and they had sunglasses on them, and I gave them a chapstick and SPF, like a suntan lotion. They loved it. It's just something fun that you can do to just say, thank you for being a customer. I'm so excited that I get to do this with you. And people love stuff. So that's something else I do. One of the most important things that I train my team on is how to have conversations. I think a lot of people don't want to call their customers because they're afraid of what they're going to say. And sometimes they think, I don't even know what to say. So I created a little strategy of how I train my team to talk to their customers. I call it TRE, thank, reinforce, and expand. So that format kind of helps you navigate through a conversation with a lot more ease. So you're not kind of worrying so much, what am I going to say? How's this going to go? It's going to kind of give you kind of bullet points to make sure that you're checking in on so that you're very comfortable with that conversation. So for example, I call up somebody and first you're going to chit chat. How are you? How's your family? How's soccer going? You want to make it personal. You want to make sure you are diving into who they are. And then you're going to thank them. Danielle, I am so grateful that I get to be on this health journey with you and your family. I mean, this has been so much fun that I get to do this with you. And I really love that we get to do this life and health together. Thank. You can say however you want. Thank you for being a customer. I love that you're a customer. Well, whatever you want to do, just thank them first. Then you're going to go to reinforce. You're not just reinforcing why they started on Juice Plus. You're reinforcing the benefits that they've had and then the total benefits of what Juice Plus can do. So reinforce would be something like, Danielle, I know that you started Juice Plus because your son had digestive issues. And I know that Juice Plus has helped so much. And I love getting the success stories that you're not having to miss work. I mean, this is why you started in the first place. And it's doing everything that you wanted to do. However, it's doing more than actually you think it's doing because Juice Plus has been clinically proven to do so many things on a preventative level that we're never going to feel. So just know that you are doing the best thing for your family by giving them Juice Plus every day. Yeah, that's your reinforce, right? Now you're going to go to expand. So expand can be a couple of different things. If they're on the 2 blend, you can expand to the trio. If they're on the trio, expand to the shakes or the bars or the Tower Garden. Or you can expand to the business. This is the easiest way to navigate into the business, especially when someone's on a reship. If someone gives you a lot of customers, this is when you say, listen, Danielle, I love that you send me a lot of customers because that means you actually are talking about this with other people. Are there people in your life that you think could actually benefit from this? And there's a way that you could benefit from it too? Is that something you'd be interested in? And they're going to say yes, because they're already probably engaging in those conversations anyway, because they're excited about the product. And then you're going to say, you know what? So let's talk a little bit about the healthy living plan. And we've just entered into the business. Now you're going to have a whole different conversation. And do you know how many people or how many times people say, oh, I didn't even know there was a business? That's because we never told them. It's part of our job, right? It's to do good customer care and let them know all of the options. And part of those options is the business. So it's important that we share it. So now let's go to Friday. Final follow-up Friday. Our goal is to close any gaps that are open, tie up any loose ends, make sure that our event dates are set, personal invitations are out, that we have already people RSVPing to events, make sure our team is doing the activities aligned to their goals. And if people haven't, from the list of people that our goal is to move them to an action, if they haven't done all of those things yet, then we want to make sure that they are on task for next week. Now, they are not on your hot hands list again. Those 10 people are new people every week. But you can make sure that some of the people that maybe you're still following up with in reference to moving them to an action, that they're on the schedule for next week so that you're not forgetting who you're following up with and why until that action is complete, whatever that action may be. But our goal is to move everybody to an action. And if it's not closed, then make sure we're aligning it for the following week. And then come Saturday and Sunday. A lot of people do events on the weekends. It's a great way to share the business, share the product. I always say share the product, share your story. You know, when people say, hey, what are you up to? Tell them what you're doing. Don't stutter. Don't be afraid. I watched this happen today, this weekend. I was with one of my distributors and they said, oh my gosh, it looks like you're having so much fun. I see all your stuff on Facebook. What are you up to? She didn't know what to say, so she stuttered. It was like, oh, well, I do this thing and I love nutrition. And she just kind of kept talking in circles. And I was like, what the flip? Stand tall and tell people what you do. I share an awesome product and I get to do things like this and make a lot of money doing it. You know, whatever that is, you know, stand tall and tell people what we're up to. You know, and I say that, you know, I think about posture and body language. Do you guys know Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? Where like everything is like do-de-do-de-do, right? He's so blah. Everything is negative. If you're uncomfortable telling people that you sell a product that could potentially change your health forever, then people aren't going to get it from you. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to someone and they're like, you know, I've heard about this. Well, why don't you buy it from that person? Because they didn't really tell me like this. They didn't tell me about it like you did. Share it with passion. We have something that we are one conversation away from changing someone's life forever. But it is up to us to open our mouths. Because if we don't, guess what? They're never going to know. And we potentially could change someone's health forever, someone's financial future forever. But if we never ask, the answer is always no. It's up to us to have those conversations. So when I say share boldly, you put your shoulders back, you pick your head up, and you say, I sell a product called Juice Plus, and it's changed the health of my family. Do you want to learn more about it? That's it. Just tell people what you're up to. It's important that they understand why you're doing it, because then they're going to want to come along. The last part that you're going to do on Sunday is to make sure that you're setting up your week for the following week. When you're sitting down to do Juice Plus, that doesn't mean if you have an hour on Juice Plus, you're not going to reorganize your desk. Or let me just clean out my email box. That's not being productive, right? That's being busy, but it's not being productive. Your goal is to finish the end of every day feeling accomplished. Like, man, I just kicked butt today. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait for the follow-ups. When you are intentional with your time, you're going to watch your business grow. But if you're just kind of spinning in circles and doing the same thing over and over again, you're not going anywhere. It's really up to you to make that change. One of my favorite quotes, hence the word intentional is in there. It's my favorite word of all time. The best way to be intentional with your time is to plan how you use it. If you're spending an hour or 2 hours or 25 minutes, make sure that the phone numbers are written out. Make sure that everything is out and ready to go so that you're not now sitting down for your Juice Plus time, and now you're looking for phone numbers or trying to figure out who to call or what that looks like. Set it up beforehand. So when you sit down, you're going to zone in, you're going to shut off notifications. Nothing is that important unless your kids are calling or your family is calling. Nothing is that important. If you can spend intentional time every day, your business is going to take off. So that's my DMO. That's what that looks like. I'm going to unshare screen. And if you guys have any questions, let me know.
That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Was that not amazing, everybody?
That was flipping awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that word. I say it too much.
Absolutely amazing. Does anybody have a question for Stacey while she's off?
I have a question.
Lauren.
Thank you, Stacey, for sharing. And I was wondering if you use a calendar, like, you know, is it like a Excel calendar? Is it a paper calendar? Is it an online digital calendar?
Excellent question. I use 3 different things, not 3 different calendars, but like my main things are, I have my Google Calendar is where I do a lot, where I keep track of a lot of my stuff. I use the virtual office. I know people hate the virtual office. I keep track of everything in the virtual office. So you can make lists in the virtual office. I keep notes under every customer when I'm doing customer care, when I enter, and when you keep your notes, in a specific person's file, for example, it actually logs it in chronological order. So I actually do all of my customer care. I do it from my computer. I can do it on my phone. So I keep notes and keep lists of who I'm talking to, what event they're from, or something along those lines. So I use that. And then another thing I use, it's an app. It's called AnyDo, ANY.do. It's my like to-do list. And I like to categorize things. So I can chunk my to-do list in like sections. I can do it on my computer, but I also do it on my phone. So for example, I have like Juice Plus today, right? I have hot hands list. Like I have literally, I kind of keep that information in my AnyDo app. And then when I sit down to do those calls, I keep my prospects. Everything lives in my virtual office. I utilize the virtual office, I think, more than most of the company does. I was showing something to Dewana, my regional director, and I think Tanya was on the phone, and she was like, "Oh wait, you can do that?" And I was like, "Yes." I use the virtual office for everything. So those are kind of the three things that I use: the virtual office, my Google Calendar, and then the AnyDo app to kind of keep my to-dos organized.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's helpful. Yeah, I didn't realize actually that functionality of the virtual office. So I'm going to take a look because,
you know, after we're on, Danielle, we can stay on for 2 seconds. I can show you
yeah,
really quickly after we unrecord, because I can't show you my screen with all my customers' information, but I can show you quickly so you can train.
yeah. Thank you. Does anyone
Does
else
anybody have any other questions? No?
No? All good?
Well, I hope that was helpful. If you need anything else, please reach out to Danielle and she can connect with me. But
yeah, absolutely. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Stacey.
You're welcome.
Really
so much.
appreciate you hopping on our call tonight, and hopefully everyone got something out of it. And I think absolutely, I think we're always saying it, be intentional, right? Be intentional with your time. And we really do have a beautiful gift that we can bless people with. It's just a matter of us opening our mouths. And what I said on our message today, it starts sometimes with just a smile, right? Just walk out there and smile at people. And you never know where that could take you, right?
I agree.
So I'm going to end the recording. We can all say goodnight and thank you to Stacey.